Hello, Morning Rush regulars. It is Wednesday, and we're talking about tomorrow's show today. Now, by the way, the people watching officially begins today. If you're going to the South Carolina State Fair, and today will be a great day to go because I understand they have free cake for like 150 people. They're going to have a big 150th birthday. They got the rockets now decorated like a candle. So I don't know if you're gonna be out there today and you see something, say something on the Morning Rush tomorrow. Tell me what you saw. We might just make this a running bit for the next 10 days.
Okay.
All right, then we do have some other issues. There's Kelly Nash. We have some other issues we want to handle tomorrow, but the parenting fail probably is one of my favorites.
Always got to get to the parental confessional, and it's an opportunity, cleanse the soul. It's good when you do that, but it usually leads to some humor too. What kind of mess up did you do with your kid? And then my favorite is when mom or dad tries to blame the kid for whatever it was.
Yes.
That's the best. If you've ever had some sort of mistake at the house and said, Timmy, why'd you do that? Love to hear those stories. But what else have you got?
The other thing I wanted to talk about tomorrow, outside of the obvious with the South Carolina State Fair, the parenting fail. What was the thing I want to talk about? I'm drawing a blank.
So earlier this week, what I had told Jonathan about was one of my friends who is a Carolina fan posted a photo of his son, who's, I'm going to guess, around 6, and the kid is decked head to toe in Clemson gear. And he said, my kid just figured out what Ray Kings look like and what it means to be number one, and he's all in on Clemson. Personally, I don't think I would allow my child to root for my arch rival. If they wanted to cheer for, if I'm a Gamecock fan and they said, for whatever reason, I'm just a huge Oklahoma fan. That's weird, but okay. But if it's the one that daddy and mommy went to and they love Carolina, right, how can you let that kid become a Clemson fan?
Yeah, see, and Clemson and Carolina, I think, live exclusively in this. And maybe Coastal is now graduated to this level, at least with baseball. Now, if your kid wants to pull for the Citadel or for Wofford, whatever, it's a golf team from Winthrop, okay, that's cool, because it's a whole different divisional kind of thing. But when you start mixing, like Sally was a Clemson fan because she grew up in the upstate. And then John originally was a Clemson fan. And then Clemson put the kibosh on him. I got to tell you that story one day. It ended up with broken bones. Should have sued. And then he became a Carolina athlete student. So he's all in with Carolina. Well, that led Lee, who was the other Clemson fan, over to Carolina. And then Sally had to join us because we're a family unit. You have to cheer for the same team. So I'm saying that's not good for the family atmosphere.
Well, I mean, you guys are baseball fanatics. Tumbleweed's probably the biggest baseball fanatic. Jonathan's a close second. Here's the question. Grew up a Braves fan, and you have a child, and the kid is watching the Braves games every, weeknight with you when he can, and then all of a sudden he just says, you know what team I like? The Mets. I just think the Mets are the best. I love their colors. I want Mets gear, Daddy. Do you just beat it out of them, or what do you do?
And this happens, with professional sports like with the MLB, or more likely with the NFL, because how many Dallas Cowboy fans are there all across the country for no reason?
Well, because they were good in the 70s, right. And so then all these adults were like, I've always loved Roger Staubach.
And look what happened with your allegiances with fantasy football. Mm-hmm. Now we're all spread out all over the place. Yeah. So, but you're right. How do you handle that? Because that needs to be nipped in the damn bud. Speaking of nipping in the bud, I want to find out who broke my chair. I want to find out who caused this damage. My back is in such bad shape now I had to go to physical therapy yesterday. I want to know. You got any clues?
49% of Americans have quit their job, Jonathan, not over a bad chair, but over a bad boss. They said the boss made it so miserable they didn't even look for another job. They just quit. 49% of Americans have quit without having another job lined up.
I've only had, in radio. I'm kind of unusual in that I haven't had 57 jobs. I've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 jobs in radio. I quit 3 of them because of the boss. And I told the manager when I quit, this is why I'm leaving, because I thought he was going to throw him under the bus. But no, every time I had to leave. But nonetheless, I believe that number.
Yeah. I've never quit because of the boss. I may have looked for another job because of the boss, but I never quit because of the boss. So maybe we'll get to an opportunity where we can hear about your bad boss stories. And now I have a weird obsession I have a lot of weird obsessions. One of them is celebrity homes. Like Cribs was my favorite television show ever. I just loved going in and seeing these people's houses. Tom Brady has got his house for sale now.
Okay.
Almost $40 million.
Wow.
It's a nice house.
I would hope so.
Yeah, but I don't know where he's going. Like, he's still signed with the Patriots for 2 more years.
Yeah.
3 more years. But he's selling his house. Would you want to take a tour of Tom Brady's house? I've thought about these types of things. Like, I clearly can't afford a $40 million house. But just try to tell the agent, I'll be in town. I'm interested in seeing the Brady mansion. Just, you know what I'm saying? Oh, is Elton John's house in Atlanta for sale?
I would think that it would be hard to sell a $40 million house. Can you imagine? That's like running a small business. That's a $40 million mansion. How many different employees do you have just to take care of your house? You got to have at least 15 employees to take care of the place. I can't imagine wanting a 40. If I could afford it, I wouldn't want a 40 million.
I thought you were going to say you can't afford the upkeep. I can afford the 40 million, but not
Right.
the $100,000 a month to
Like
keep it
driving a
running.
Porsche. If you think you can afford the payments, you can't afford the mechanic. I know those guys. You can't afford him.
Anyway, so we got that story up on the Morning Rush blog and others. I know Tumbleweed's tight on time because he's off to Fort Gordon today. Head on down
Yeah.
there and see Tumbleweed with his Pepsi samples.
Ah.
Go ahead to Fort Gordon, but don't try to play golf unless you're active military. That's another story. I was escorted off. I wasn't kicked off. But I like Fort Gordon. Hey, have yourself a great day Wednesday. And if you want to chime in on any of this, you got so much you want to talk about. If you're going to the fair and you're people watching, let us know. The number is 978-WCOS, 978-9267. And always reach out to us on social media. Tell us what you want to talk about.